Hope you're having a good week. It's George Leith. We are really excited about the next 8 weeks here for the weekly sales webinar. We are going to be talking about vertical specific training, and I've had a ton of requests for this across our partners. Put together a webinar about how to sell to certain verticals. So we're going to start this week with law firms, and I'm going to take you through all the things that I would do to sell to a law firm. And then you can take pieces of this or use the whole thing and utilize it in your own organization to go out and sell to this. I consider law firms to be low-hanging fruit in the marketplace. The ones that I have worked with, value reputation is a very important piece of the puzzle, but they also want to make sure that they have that good virtual doorway. So, that's what the whole idea of the vertical specific training series is giving you all of the material that you would need to sell into these specific verticals. It's the next 8 weeks of the weekly sales webinar, and then we're also going to plumb these webinars into Sales and Success Center under the training resources tab. So let's talk about the idea that businesses need a new marketing stack. I have found that, to just say, we're doing digital, that word digital is over top of a lot of different things. And really what we have to do as agencies and media companies is have this new marketing stack that we can take out and put in front of our customers. And businesses need to be using this marketing stack, from advertising through to their listings and search engine optimization, their reputation, their social, that website experience, and then gathering the information of who their customers are so they can continue to market to those customers and drive loyalty. So, we're gonna take you through that buyer's journey and why that's important. And it really isn't about selling as much as it's about informing. You've got to be researching the customer. You've got to be educating them. You've got to be helping them connect the dots. You've got to make them happy, and that is through showing them that what they gave you, the revenue that they gave to your organization, resulted in revenue for them. It's that thought of return on investment. So, we really have to make this move to becoming an influencer, from not selling ads or selling marketing, but to helping our customers influence their potential customers. And that's what we are making this transition towards. The Vendasta platform allows you to take your customers, in this case being law firms, through this buyer's journey. And we're going to talk a lot about the acquisition phase, but we can't forget about the retention phase. More and more I'm finding that this middle portion here, the retention phase, is very, very difficult for agencies to execute. We can get the close, but what we're having is a difficulty in making sure that our customers rather adopt, and then also making sure that we're able to show them our proof of performance and that ROI, the return on investment. And then finding out when they're interacting and what's going on inside their virtual doorway so that we can identify opportunities for upsells or cross-sells into other products and services. So every law firm has a buyer's funnel, the way that they attract new business, and the way that they remind existing customers or clients, as they call them, that they have services that they can offer to those customers. And we need to educate all of our customers, especially law firms, that buying decisions are made online. Consumers are going to those 15 different places to make those buying decisions, and it's really important that they have that sterling virtual doorway. The research phase is that important piece that's missing for businesses. So for law firms, when I've been out talking to these organizations, and sometimes we speak to them in a seminar environment, or sometimes we're speaking to them face-to-face, I want to talk to them about that buyer's funnel. I found that this buyer's funnel analogy is an excellent way to explain some of the problems that businesses are having in getting those leads that they have to convert. So how do leads become clients in the law space? They need to be doing some sort of advertising. So, I see law firms running billboard ads all the time. I was in Miami here 3 weeks ago, and I noticed a number of law firms that are advertising on billboards. And that's how they get those leads into the top of that funnel. And then, after we have digested advertising, when we have a need for the product or service, in this case, a need for the law firm services, we think of the firms that come top of mind, and then we do a search. And we go to find their listings. And then we look at their reputation to see if we can trust them. And then we check their social profiles, because that's part of those 15 different places that consumers go to make their buying decision. We probably will go to their website. And we will see if they've got a good website experience, meaning do they have a mobile-friendly website? Am I able to get information on there about their practice and what they specialize in? And you'll notice at the bottom of the buyer's funnel, we're getting less and less of those leads because they've fallen out of the funnel. In fact, they haven't really fallen out of the funnel. If there's something wrong with listings, reputation, social, or website, they're running out of the funnel and they're running to the competition, to a law firm that has the product, services, the listings correct, the reputation, social, and website. You know, around this thought of listings, you have to have a Google My Business profile. That's really, really important. But it's even more than that. You need to start having more data around your listings. And voice search is going to really transform the search business, where we're not typing into a search engine. We're just asking our mobile device to search for the law firm of our choice. So I've started talking about voice search every time that I talk about listings, because listing sources are asking for more and more data. We'll dig into that here more in a few moments. So the easiest way for a law firm to increase their marketing budget is to steal from someone else's by making sure that they have that buyer's funnel and that they have a solid foundation to that buyer's funnel. If your foundation isn't solid, your advertising is really a waste. So the easiest way for us to portray to that law firm, if they have that solid foundation, is to run a snapshot report. And the snapshot report analyzes the 5 pillars of the virtual doorway around their listings, their advertising, their reputation, their social, and their website. And each one of these pieces we need to articulate in front of the client. I've found that the salespeople that are the best consultants and are the best at closing new business and maintaining existing business are the ones that never miss out on one of these pillars. They always talk about them. And they always bring value to the discussion. So around listings, we don't just say we're going to get your listings right. We talk about voice search, and we talk about how it's transforming that industry to have more and more data around a listing. And then around reputation, we talk about the fact that consumers can leave a review at any time across a wide array of sources. And then for social, we talk about those social profiles and how there is an entire generation that is going to social to make their buying decision. And then on a website, what's your website experience like? How can we improve that experience? Is it optimized for mobile? Does the website load quickly? What I've found is a lot of businesses find the website to be a point of pain. It's either a big expense for them, it's something that they don't pay a lot of attention to, they know that they need to be updating it and getting it up to date, but it's difficult for them. So I found that website to really be an anchor that I can utilize in building a relationship with a customer. And then on the advertising, digital advertising is a must for them to increase their reach and get more clients. And they need to continually be putting that brand message out there. But what we want to understand is when it comes to advertising, what are they willing to pay to get a new client? And what is a client worth to them? Because then when we start to ask those types of questions, we can start to discover what the potential budget might be that makes sense for that law firm to market to attract new customers. So the research piece, when we're talking about this, is really important. It's something that not a lot of salespeople get right, but we need to be doing more research than ever to understand what the opportunity is. The very best way for you to research a customer is to utilize Snapshot to either find law firms in your marketplace that you could go market to, or to pull data around a law firm to figure out what the opportunity might be. I like to speak to the points of pain that they have. And the snapshot report, there's nothing better. There's a reason why it's award-winning. There's a reason why 10,000 sales professionals trust it to do that needs analysis around the world and growing all the time, is because it's a great way to do that research phase. Plus, it becomes a great way to educate the law firm on the issues that face their business. So We're able to create that snapshot report very simply. We can either do it with a phone number, we can upload a list of accounts and bulk create snapshot reports. We can utilize that snapshot report for multi-locations. So it's a great way to come up with that information. I'm going to go live in here and show you the way that I utilize the snapshot report in a moment or two. But the snapshot report does more than just research. It's a way to educate customers. We built that snapshot report so that it is prescriptive and it's educational. If you click on those videos in the left-hand corner of each of the pieces that educate the customer, there's the banner and it's got some data inside it. It's got some messaging inside it. The videos are all different. When we recorded those videos, and we continue to update those, I recorded a number of them, and basically what the video is if I was sitting across from the customer that got that score, this is how I would have a conversation with them. So, the reason for that is I want to help you as sales professionals on what your script should be when you're talking to your client. But I also want, if you haven't even talked to the client yet and you're just using it in a marketing automation campaign, and the customer happens to click that video, I want them to understand and to listen and learn and realize what the opportunity is if we were to solve some of these problems. So the snapshot report is a great way to assess the customer's needs. It also is a great way to educate the customer on what their issues are. So I'm in here inside my Sales and Success Center, and I'm going to create a prospect. And I want to show you, there's some great things going on in here when you come in and do your first search. So the one search that we could do is if we're looking to prospect lawyers, and I'm going to be speaking here in Dallas, Texas in a couple of weeks. So let's use Dallas, Texas. I can come in here and just type in lawyers in Dallas, Texas, and it shows me 10 of them. It shows them to me on a map. And if I want to take that down into a smaller area, so let's look here. Maybe I want to do it around Addison, and I notice that Addison is 75248 for the zip. So you just come up here and put in 75248, and now it'll just show me the lawyers in that zip code. You can see that the map is scaled in, and it's showing me a number of law firms. So, the reason why you're listening to this webinar today, or you have clicked on this video inside the Sales and Success Training Resources, is you want to learn how to sell to lawyers. This is a great way to do that. Now, you may have a lawyer that's a customer of yours already. I would put them in here and see who all the law firms are around that area that you could talk to. So this is a great way to do some prospecting where you can come in here and find these lawyers, and you could just do it by putting in lawyers in a city or lawyers in a zip code or a postal code, and you can start to build up those snapshot reports. So I have a law firm that I'm going to chase down, and it's the Hickey Law Firm in Miami. I was in Miami here, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, and I noticed a billboard for these folks. So that's the reason why I'm pulling them up. They were top of mind. I happened to be staying just a couple of blocks away from these folks. And I want to find out whether there's an opportunity to work with this organization or not. So when I come in here and I decide that this is my customer I want to create my report for, and I move to the next stage, there are some things that are going to happen inside Sales and Success Center as we're starting to create that account. So, we're waiting for the account to create, and I want you to pay attention to what's going on here as the data comes in. Let's go back to that here. So there it is. It's now created the account. And just a couple of things. We can place this account on a campaign, and we have some campaigns that we've loaded into the system. You also could put your own law-specific campaign in there, and you can preview the various campaigns by just clicking this button and see what the emails are going to look like in that campaign and click through them. That's fantastic where I'm able to preview that. I'm going to turn this off, though. And you'll notice here that as the report was loading, some data came in. And it's always interesting when this data is loading. If you notice that there are no hours of operation showing up, pretty good chance that they have not went through and claimed their Google My Business profile. So that's an opportunity for you to sell a claim of Google My Business. And you'll notice here that we've loaded all of these social profiles have all come in, so we know that they're engaged in social. And we also are able to do some tagging down here. So I really like this where I can come in here and put in lawyer. And we're going to be talking all about vertical specific. I want to build up a list of lawyers that I can market to. Because outside of running the snapshot report, I also, within the Vendasta platform, can start to build marketing automation campaigns for everything that my agency sells. So you want to make sure that you're putting tags in there so that you're tagging. The other one that I really like to put in here is maybe around a specific sales campaign that I'm doing, a specific event that I'm doing. So you might be selling a listing solution at a low price to acquire more businesses, and then with the idea of landing and expanding, landing them in at a low price and then moving them up the chain into larger opportunities. There's lots of organizations that do that. So you may have some sort of specific sales. You can put whatever tags you want in here, but I'm definitely going to tag it under lawyer because this is our legal specific sales webinar, and I might want to come back and target lawyers at another date with other products and services. So we're going to move through and we're going to create this snapshot report. I've already done this for the sake of time because we know it takes 10 minutes for the snapshot report to populate. So I'm going to go into this one that I created earlier today and start to look for the opportunities around how we're going to market to Hickey Law Firm when we finally get in front of these folks. You notice that we found some photos. You notice that we have found that they are listed on a number of sources well above the industry average. There are some small discrepancies inside the way that they are listed online. So you see they're coming up as 1401 Brickell and a suite. So they have just 510 is showing up here. So this is what we found online to create the report. And on a lot of their listing sites, they have it as suite 510. And then this phone number, we've got an issue around that as well, where we're finding the toll-free number is the predominant number, and then we have the local number here. So, it's just something that we want to point out to the business that there are some accuracy issues. It's not consistent listing data across that wide array of sources. They have errors on the 4 data providers, and we're going to utilize listing distribution to build citations over the next year for them. So we want to identify that we can make sure that we get the data correct at the source. And then on reviews, you'll see that they are getting reviews across 3 different sources. So this is a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned to utilize the platform to put them on email alerts, to give them a login where they can come in and see all those reviews in one place. They can start to run some searches on the data inside the reviews to see what keywords are trending. And you'll see that they have a great review score of 4.85. They are a little short on reviews over the last 6 months. So, that's the piece where we may want to identify that they should be asking all their customers for feedback, saying, how are we doing? We want to know how to improve. And then that would help them get more reviews in the short period, in that 6 month time period. They have a bunch of reviews, but most of them are older than 6 months. So it's that recency of reviews. On social performance, you see they're doing a whole bunch of work around social. They've got a lot of likes. They do a lot of posting. They're getting really good average likes per post. They're getting some shares per post. And we can even click in here to find out more information. You notice this thing here where I click on this. When we go to Facebook, we see that this firm is posting these Wolf Pack Thursdays. So Miami's best young professionals gathering. So, this is and this law firm is a sponsor. So, that's something that I'd love to know about the law firm because I'm going to ask about that. I'm going to say, that's really interesting that you do this Wolfpack Wednesday or Wolfpack Thursday thing. Tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me, so those types of things that are surfacing here inside the snapshot report, it doesn't always have to be painful. And if you've attended any of my webinars before, you'll know that I talk about the snapshot report being the point of report of pain. But it also is the analysis and research for you where you've got some things that you can now talk to this person about. They're working on Twitter. And they are also working on Facebook, and they're doing these Wolfpack Thursday things. I want to learn more about that. Maybe there's an opportunity, if they're a big sponsor of that event, where they might be able to introduce me to the Wolfpack Thursday people, and I can work with them on some of their items. So, I just love the data that flows into the snapshot report. It doesn't always have to be bad. It can be good, and it can give you some information that you can use in your conversation with the customer. They have some speed issues around their mobile website. Their user experience is great, though, and you can see on their desktop they also have some speed issues. So, these folks are doing a pretty good job. Their homepage size is a little high, and that's going to those speed issues. And I even noticed it when I loaded their website, because I went to their website to check it out. And then on search engine marketing, you can see that they are buying some keywords. So these folks are savvy. They are doing some things inside digital marketing. It doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity. They either are using somebody to do that work, and then I always like that because I don't have to educate them on the things that they need to do. And we have a solution that can be added on to that with the platform to make it a lot easier for them to do that. Around social, when I see them doing this social work, they might be doing it themselves. And I found a lot of people that do social themselves don't like it. They would like to be able to outsource it, but they just don't trust somebody to do that work as well as they do it. So, I find that the A's sometimes are a really good opportunity for us to have a conversation around helping them and helping them to do more of that work. You see, they're even doing retargeting as well. So this is an example of a snapshot report that gives us all of the information that we need to go in now and have an educated conversation with our customer. And that is the real key to getting this client, is that I need to be educated. I need to be able to show value as a salesperson and as a consultant, and I need to be able to articulate that I found some holes or I found some ways that we could make the process better. Now, I always get the question of where do I get that prospect list if we're going to be doing marketing automation. So that's where we need to have an email address that we can market to at these law firms. And some examples of where we have went to get prospect lists is we go to accounting and we say, who are all the law firms we've worked with in the past? So if you're an large organization, you may be able to go to finance and accounting and get an account list. You may be able to buy a lead list, although sometimes that doesn't go over very well as far as getting good contacts. The one that I really like is when you co-sponsor with an organization. So maybe you go to this Wolfpack Thursdays and you say, listen, I'd like to give these reports to all of your members. Give me a list, I'll let you guys co-sponsor, and then you utilize that as a marketing list that you can start to move forward with. The other item is you can build that list as you go. What I mean by that is we have to train our sales organization to always be asking for email addresses and contacts. Who are the people at the organization? Because I want to send you some information that will be valuable to you. It's not that I want to sell you something. It's not that I want to inundate you with buy my stuff. What I want to do is send you email campaigns that educate you. That is the very best way to start to convert new customers. What will happen is you'll be able to start having conversations, and then you'll be able to speak to how you add value. And the value is the big piece to this. So I'm going to give you some value items now around each portion of the snapshot report. Local search, the listing side, we are able to help them with their listings. We talk about how voice search is transforming this space where we need to have more information there, and all of the listing sites are requesting more information. It's about being found. It's difficult to get a hold of these sites, and we want to just get it done with the press of a button, which we're able to do with Listing Sync Pro. And we're able to add more information around there. If you ever wanted to change your hours of operation, you just come into the platform and you change it inside your business profile, and then it just automatically syncs. And if you ever wanted to add services or you ever wanted to change photos, and all of that is starting to come into the platform here, where there's way more going to be in this list around listings. So I always talk about that on every presentation. I even start to talk about how they appear in local search. I will do a local search in Google and pull some screenshots out and show them how we can improve this by making them more robust and adding more information. And of course, the most important thing that the business could do to help with this rank is get some Google reviews, because Google is ranking businesses with reviews on the map even higher than businesses that don't have that information. So there's a number of things that we can do here to help the business, and I always speak to that and add value inside the reviews. These are things that businesses need to be doing. Claim Google My Business, get some Google reviews, make sure they have the consistency of that listings, make sure that they're searching themselves in the local market to see how consumers see them, build new listings utilizing citations or Listing Sync Pro, and then make sure that they're adding content on their website on a regular basis. So when I go to the law firm here that we're using as our example, I notice that they have a blog. I start to ask them questions about how they are generating that content. There are very few times that the prospect on the other end of the call, or when you're meeting with them, says, yeah, that's the thing I enjoy the most, is building content. If there's ways that you can help them with that, it also adds some value. So these are 6 things that I always talk about when I'm speaking about local SEO or local presence or listings or whatever you want to call it. Now on the reputation portion, depending upon what's inside the snapshot report, this can go a different way. For this business, because they had a very good reputation inside the snapshot report. If we go back here again and we go to this reviews portion, you'll remember that they had a bunch of reviews. It was coming from multiple sources. They need to get some recent reviews. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you the ability from within our platform and with our email alerts. You're just going to know about what people are saying about you. And then number 2, we're going to give you this process with review generation where you're able to ask everyone that you do business with how you're doing. You're going to survey all of your customers, and you're going to ask for that Net Promoter Score. You're going to say, how are we doing? And that is going to help you to start to get that first-party data where they leave the review. You have it on your listings page. You can start to interact with those customers that had a less than stellar experience, and you can also talk to the ones that had a great experience and hopefully convert them to go leave those reviews organically, so then you can start to improve this last 6 months. This is something that they have to deal with. So really important that you're utilizing the value propositions inside reputation. I have left you with inside this deck, which is going to be inside our resource center, was the very latest information that I'm using when we're out in front of customers. A lot of this hasn't changed very much over the last few years, but when it comes to the review generation portion and these exercises, here's some things that I talk about on every call. It's important for the law firm to know what's being said and to know about it very quickly. They need to be responding to every review. They need to make sure that getting reviews is just a part of their daily workflow. It's something they should look at. Did I get a review yesterday? And if they're not, what can I do to get a review? And we have that inside review generation where you can send out that email and ask your customers how you're doing. Promote the positive comments. Where people have said good things about you, put that out on social media. And then make sure that your entire management team is reading through the reviews, because the data inside those reviews are telling you about the things that you're doing right and the things that you're doing wrong. We get reviews all the time. Kind of makes sense because we're in that space, but it is something that in my sales organization, I'm asking our team to always request reviews because I want to read through the data and see how we're interacting with our customers. So it really is knowing how your customers or clients are feeling about you and then interacting with that information. These are 5 things that every business needs to be doing, every law firm needs to be doing. Now on social media, there are exercises for social media as well. And you notice that when we ran the snapshot report for this law firm, they're doing it all. They've got LinkedIn, they're doing Facebook, they're doing Twitter. And yes, they have their channels claimed. The next, how often are they interacting on social? That might be where we can help these folks. Do they respond to every comment and review in a timely manner? And then the final piece, which we've started adding this year, is have they identified their audience? So they have that idea of the 3,400 people. Are they utilizing that 3,400 likes and building lookalike audiences? Are they using Facebook Business Manager to start to expand that reach? Are they boosting their posts that they're putting out there to get a larger reach? So for someone like this law firm that is very engaged in social media, and I always come back to the snapshot report, these folks know what they're doing. I know that when I go in with social and I look at these 4 exercises, I know that I'm going to really work around this, identifying the audience and starting to do some advanced social media programs with them. So I always get asked about packages. How do I package this up? What does the bundle look like? What does the solution look like that I'm putting in front of that customer? We started really educating our partners around monthly recurring revenue. That's what we want, is that subscription from this law firm. I want the law firm to give me a subscription. And this is an example of one of the programs that we put out there, and we're getting a lot of traction around these types of programs. So the first is we're going to do listings. We're going to make sure that they're right. We're going to use technology to do that. Listing distribution, Listing Sync Pro. We're going to claim Google and Yelp for you. We're going to help you with that type of work. If you're a partner that's on our enterprise or elite subscriptions, you have access to our digital agency here. We also, for those folks that do this work yourselves, you know how important it is to claim Google and Yelp, and you know that a lot of businesses, if you've been selling this, they don't like doing it. It's not something that they're educated on, so we're able to sell them a do-it-for-me type solution. The other is building them out a social media plan where we're doing some posts. I don't know if that's a fit here because it looks like they're doing social on their own, but maybe they, as I mentioned earlier, maybe they don't like it. The reporting and the email alerts of all online activity, I think that is the piece where we're really going to lean for the law firm. The fact that we're going to monitor your reputation with our software. We're going to send you alerts by email. We're going to give you a place to log in to see all of this information. And then I would also talk to them about we could respond to all reviews on your behalf. So the response to positive and negative reviews where it's drafted by an agent, they get to approve it. We take care of remembering all the credentials and posting it online. That's going to be really valuable. And then the other piece where we solicit reviews utilizing the email solicitation, they give us a list of all of their clients. We send out an email to them saying, hey, how did we do? We want to make sure that we're striving to have excellent customer service here at this law firm. So that's, that's how we can build those recent reviews and get that number. That's the only place they were doing poorly on reviews was the recent reviews. So I would talk specifically about review generation. So this package, you're going to be able to sell this up around the $1,000 mark and get some really good ROI on there for your agency. And the cost of goods on it is about $520 a month if you're utilizing the Vendasta Digital Agency. If you're doing this work yourself, you can keep some of those dollars inside your organization. But I don't think that $700 to $1,000 a month spend is out of the realm of possibility for a law firm. I really like this program, especially if you're coming in that $700 range, because I think that where law firms, the sweet spot around law firms that I've found is that $500 to $1,000 range to just take care of everything. This is a little smaller social media plan. But also it has all the reporting, it has that review response, and definitely has the listings in it. This is in around that $400 range if you double your money, so $200 worth of cost of goods, and then we mark it up from there. And the only piece that's missing from here is social. So we're going to give them the social marketing tool, the do-it-yourself tool inside the platform, but this is where they're going to do their own social. So, I come back to that snapshot report. This might be where I'll start when I start asking for the business at the end of the presentation. And then, of course, we have the DIY toolkit. I don't put this in a presentation. I leave it in my briefcase and I pull it out if I need it. So I definitely don't. You have customers out there that are just going to go to the cheapest package in your bundle. You show 4 programs, they're going to go to the cheapest one. So don't put this in there. best practices are just to leave this aside and put it in later. I would definitely show these 4, and in the version of this presentation that we send where you can brand it yourself, you can go in here and adjust this retail pricing based upon what the markup is you're going to put on the wholesale pricing that is inside the white here. So you'd cut this piece out, just show this part to the customer, and then mark it up. So we've tried to give you some very easy ways for you to go to market to sell to lawyers, and then we also have put all of these summaries in here so you can see how we arrived at the cost of goods. So that's how I would go to market with the digital marketing services. And then the other piece that I really like for law firms is advertising, and digital advertising at that. And I have put a whole bunch of information inside this presentation, and that is for those of you that really want to dig into it, like the review piece. You can go through here and you can look at all of this. I'm not going to speak to all of this inside the webinar due to time, but I do want to talk about how we speak to the law firm about advertising. Digital advertising is new inside our platform and inside our offering to our partners, but I'll tell you this much, it is not new to me. I've been selling advertising my entire life, it feels like. It's been it's been 30 years now, for sure. And I find that when in dealing, and I think back to the law firms, those were the people that I sold to, whether it was radio or print, or I found them to be quite easy because they have a budget. They do know that they need to be marketing themselves. And I mentioned that law firm that we were looking at in the snapshot report. They're buying billboards in Miami, which is one of the top DMAs in the U.S. So they have money to spend. So what we want to do is get them to think about digital marketing, and it is an easy conversation to have. It's where all the eyeballs are. The eyeballs are on websites online. We are able to put banner ads in mobile devices. We're able to do site retargeting where we drop a pixel onto their website and we put advertising there to follow them around. We're able to do Facebook advertising campaigns. We're able to do Google AdWords campaigns. But we want to make sure that we're utilizing the tactics that are best to get them the results that they want. So for your agency, the idea of adding digital advertising is you can acquire new advertising customers, you can expand the set of offerings, and quite frankly, every business needs to be doing marketing and advertising to attract new business. So it's a pretty sticky piece to add customers. What we want to understand is, what is the law firm's goal? Do they want more phone calls? Do they want more people to come to their organization, or do they want both? I think that it's on the left, where they want people to phone their business, and they definitely want them to come into the law firm, but they got to set an appointment. And the way that you set an appointment is by a phone call. So we might be talking about a phone call only campaign. But I'd ask them, do you want phone calls? Do you want people to come in? Do you want both? Do you just want to get your message out there? So by understanding that goal, then we need to start asking questions about the other marketing and advertising that they've done. What has worked best to generate new clients for you? What have you tried that didn't work so well? So we want to understand if they've done any digital marketing and digital advertising and what their experience has been. How much do you think it would cost to get a new customer? Do they have an idea of what their cost of customer acquisition is? And then, what is that customer worth to you? If I could get you a new client, what would they be worth? So if you're just getting them to do a mortgage, it might be worth X. If you're getting them as a corporate lawyer, where it's a business that's going to use them as a corporate law firm, might be this much. So we need to learn a little bit more about that when we're talking to the law firm, ask questions around. And I find these questions to really position you as an expert, where you can say, have you ever thought about how much you're prepared to spend to get a new client? Have you ever thought about what that client's lifetime value might be to your firm? And do you have anything new that you're doing? And that's where I would maybe ask the question already knowing the answer, because I went to their website and I've read their blog and I've looked at their new products and services, or I already kind of know the answer so that I can kind of lead that question. So these are some questions. You don't need to ask them specifically in this. Please don't go in and just ask these questions. You want to come up with a way to craft it so you're not interrogating the law firm. But you definitely want to be asking some questions so that you know where to go with your presentation. Now, we have put some more things in here to understand, so when we're presenting, we can talk about what the campaign's objective is. We're going to target new clients. We're going to increase the number of phone calls or visits that you're going to get. And then we're going to show you a report on how it did. Really important that you lean on the reporting, because this is the piece that I wish I had 30 years ago when I was selling radio campaigns. You know, when we would sell traditional media back in the good old days, we would talk about how many people we can reach, because that's really the only tangible number that we had. And then we had this thing called ratings, which happened a couple times a year, where they surveyed 2,000 people in the marketplace and asked them their listing habits. And if you had good ratings, you used them. And if you had bad ratings, then you said that they weren't good. But really, we haven't been able to talk about the return on investment as well as we needed to. And that's what digital advertising has allowed us to do, is we can track and report on everything. We've got great relationships with Google and Facebook. We've got all the latest technology. We've got robots that are making the decisions. Excuse me, machines are better at making decisions, and they're able to do it very quickly. We use a whole bunch of different tactics, and we change those tactics over time to make sure that they're getting us the results that we want. So we're all about showing results to the law firm on how we've been performing. And law firms are buying Google AdWords. We know that. I see law firms doing work on Facebook. So this is a target-rich environment. I see law firms doing site retargeting. I see them doing search retargeting. And you know, geofencing is one of the hot new things, where we're able to just say, in downtown Miami, we're just going to put your ad in front of every person that owns a business. You know, we can do things like that. And we've got other targeting as well that we can do. So we have provided you with this material inside our digital advertising collateral so that you can go out and look like an expert in front of the law firms. And we're providing webinars like this so that you can think about what that scripting is going to be, or talk track is going to be. And we have these innovations that we have brought into the platform, like every call is recorded and transcribed. Whoa, what? So we put a call tracking number into the advertising campaigns. We record all the calls against that call tracking number, and then we transcribe them into words, and we put it against keywords. So if the law firm is specifically running a campaign around bankruptcies or mortgages, real estate transactions, business purchases, what else could it be? Divorce. Whatever it might be, those would be the keywords that we'll look for inside the call DNA. And we'll also give them the ability to click on that call and listen to it. They can hear how the person at the front desk, when they get the calls, is answering questions and is converting that call into an appointment. I found that that's really, really powerful when you're speaking to them about these campaigns. So we build mobile landing pages, and we build the ads as well. And then we show in a bi-weekly cadence the performance reports. So here's a sample campaign where we ask the customer, what is a customer worth to you? And that's where we find out what the revenue that was generated from the campaign. So yes, we're going to show impressions, and we're going to show the cost per click. We're going to show how many clicks that we got. But we have the budget data sorted, and we also know what the conversion rate and what the customer is worth. And that's where we're able to come up with this amazing revenue number tied to the campaigns. So we surface a number of different packages that are available for the law firm to use. And in here you can see the wholesale rates, the design and development to get the campaigns up and running. So there's a bit of a sign-up fee to get going. And then the minimum impressions that we're going to generate. And we've got them based around a number of different budgets. And if the law firm has a larger budget than $750, we can build a custom campaign. And it's around the phone calls and visits, and then if somebody just wants the store visits. We have this digital advertising form that we've created where it's very easy for your agency to order the campaigns, and we've got a team of people here that are working to execute those campaigns. So this is an example of one of those campaign reports. Again, we do them twice a month, and we give them to you so you can have a conversation with your customer. So, we're not going to be able to run a 1-month campaign. We want to be looking at this. I try to start at 90 days and say, I'm looking for a 90-day commitment. We're going to run a 3-month. I'm going to show you all of the reporting month after month, show you how we've gotten better as we've learned more about the tactics that are going to work for your business, in your market, in your vertical. So if we're just dealing with law firms, we're really good at that. We're able to get them some very good return on investment. You can see here the conversion result, the value. This right-hand side, this is the really sexy stuff when we're talking to the law firm at the end of the month. Here's again some of those campaigns. Here's some of the phone calls, whether they were qualified or not. And then the ability to listen to those calls. So the approach is we're trying to make this really simple. I was at the Burrell conference last week in New York, and everybody in the industry is moving towards this very simple discussion, and they don't just want to tie it around Google AdWords. They want to be using more than that to make sure that they're getting the result. They don't just want to be doing Facebook advertising. They want to be doing more than that. So we've tried to make it very, very simple to talk about the campaigns. It's either phone calls, store visits, or both. And then we do talk about some of the tactics, because you may have some people that understand it and they want to go, what technology are you using? That's why I provided you with way more information. So some of the things that you need to be thinking about for your law firm customers around digital advertising is identifying the keywords. What are the things that they want to be talking about and they want to be promoting? Are they buying those keywords? We're going to make sure that we're doing that as part of these programs. Are they thinking about geo-targeting and hyper-local marketing for this law firm? Are they looking at all of Broward County? Are they just looking for downtown Miami? Are they using any sort of retargeting on their website so that we can recycle that traffic that's going to the website? And then again, Facebook is the big one, and it's growing like crazy. Again, going back to that Burrell data that was shared last week at the Burrell convention, Gordon Burrell and his team, Facebook advertising is growing. Businesses want it. That's a slam dunk, and we're definitely including that in all of the digital advertising campaigns. So in addition to this vertical specific training series that we're doing today around law firms, there's a bunch of collateral that I shared with you today that you can just brand for your agency and you can go to market tomorrow. And we are going to continue to, over the next 8 weeks, bring these vertical specific training series to you. I hope that you are following me on LinkedIn. Built up quite a following there with over 7,000 people following me on LinkedIn. I have a new public profile page on Facebook, which is under the URL Digital Leith. And I really appreciate your time in joining us for the weekly sales webinar this week. I'm George Leith. I will see you when I see you.